How's it going, Calvary students? We're back with the 5-minute devotion again. Kind of going on the topic of the past 2 devotion videos that we've done pertaining to abiding in Jesus and just giving tips and ways to study the Bible and how you ought to go about it. The key verse we find is in John chapter 15. Jesus says in verse 7, he says in verse 5, I am the vine, you are the branches. Whoever abides in me and I in him, he it is that bears much fruit. For apart from me, you can do nothing. Like I said in the last video, abiding in Jesus, remaining in Jesus, is having that personal relationship with him, deeper than just watching a 5-minute devotion that I give every week, going to church on Sunday or Wednesday, whenever you may come, but really having this one-on-one relationship with him, studying the word, because you eat food 2-3 times a day. You don't just eat on Sunday, you don't just eat on a Wednesday, but you eat many times throughout the day. And so in the same way, we should be eating on the word. Man does not live off of bread alone, Jesus tells us in Scripture. So we should be hungering to study more, to know God more, and to be consuming the word daily. So when and where should I study my Bible? Well, we're going to look at some passages that Jesus gives some examples. So we're going to see first in Matthew chapter 14, verse 23. And after he had dismissed the crowds, he went up on the mountain by himself to pray. When evening came, he was there alone. Mark chapter 1, verse 35. And rising very early in the morning, while it was still dark, he departed and went out to a desolate place, and there he prayed. Luke chapter 5, verse 16. But he would withdraw to desolate places and pray. Next is Luke chapter 22, verse 39. And when he came out and went, as it was his custom, to the Mount of Olives, and the disciples followed him. So what we see from Jesus, the example that Jesus gives us, is he has specific places that he's going to have quiet time, to have intentional divine appointments, like I've said, with the Father, time in prayer. They didn't have Bibles as readily available as we do today. Back then, they'd have to go to the temple and have these gigantic scrolls. And that's part of the reason why Jewish boys would memorize the Torah. And so Jesus gives us this example, whether it's in the evening or it's in the morning, he's rising up. He's finding a time, a desolate place, it says, a place of solitude, where he can really focus on having intentional time with the Father, intentional time in prayer. Everybody's different. I personally, the first thing I do in the morning, I wake up and do my abiding time. I have this app. It's actually called Abide, and there are audible devotions. I'm not a morning person. It really does help me wake up. And then in the evening time, I typically will I'm going through the book of James right now, and so I read and highlight key themes in each verse of the chapter. I have the privilege of going to a Christian Bible college, so I'm constantly reading and constantly learning more about the Bible. You guys don't have that advantage. I'm very fortunate to be going to class a lot and learning more and reading these books, but I would still encourage you to read books. One book that really stuck out with me was Mere Christianity by C.S. Lewis. So I just want to encourage you guys to continue abiding And remember to be intentional when and where you're doing it. Because psychologically, if you are in bed, your brain's going to tell you should go to sleep. So don't do it in bed. Get up, get somewhere else. Sit down and in the living room couch, you have a desk, go to the desk. You've got a back porch, go sit out there in the cool of the morning. And really get into your time of abiding in God. So I hope that this has helped you, and these other past videos have helped you and encouraged you in your abiding time. And I hope you have a great rest of your week, and we will see you on Wednesday or Sunday.